guys, we're the Rotoscopers, and today we're bringing you another wonderful animation art book review. Today is the Art of Wreck-It Ralph. Ours doesn't have the fancy dust cover, but it's the same book. Trust us, it's the same book. This is what it looks like without it. Ooh.
It's hidden.
Bonus.
So there's a foreword and a preface by John Lasseter himself and Rich Moore. Rich Moore is so great because Morgan and I, we love The Simpsons, and he was actually one of the original group of directors for The Simpsons. Then he went on to Futurama and doing lots of stuff there. Later on, John Lasseter, who he had met, along the way, came over to Rich and was like, hey, you want to do a CGI movie with us? And he was like, I would. How do you say no to John Lasseter?
Why would you ever say no to that?
Ever. So it's really cool of the melding of the minds for this movie. You have the Futurama Simpsons crowd meets Disney, which are fantastic crowds to be a part of. So that was really one of my favorite parts about this movie, is because it was so different from what we would have expected from Disney because of those melding of those minds.
Yeah, so the preface and the introduction, they sort of talk about that. So this book actually is divided a little differently than your typical art book. A lot of them, you get characters first and then, production design and landscapes and whatnot. This kind of is divided into the three main worlds of the movie. First you have the world of Fix-It Felix Jr., the video game. Then you have Hero's Duty, and then you have Sugar Rush. And then, you go into the human world a little bit, and then the final chapter is called bonus content. And it's really cool because it talks about this other world called Easy Living 2, which was cut out of the movie.
It was kind of like a Sims 2 type thing.
Yeah, it was really awesome.
Mm-hmm. The main part about Fix-It Felix Jr. was obviously the main characters, because that's where we meet Fix-It Felix as well as Wreck-It Ralph. It was really cool to see how these characters evolved around time. Like, for example, Ralph. There was a time where he was every animal known to man. I mean, they had iterations that were similar to Donkey Kong, cat, a fox, it just goes through as every animal. And there was even about a week or so when it was just a bulldozer himself. And when they took all these ideas to John Lasseter, and they're like, so what should we do? And he's looking at it, he's like, let's stick with humans. Now, Fix-It Felix also had many different iterations as well. He was just kind of like a Mario and, a bunch of other characters thrown together. And it wasn't until they got to Sergeant Calhoun's character that they were like, we need to make this more of a character that can hold his own with her.
So yeah, that's really cool. And these are stories that you'll read in the book, which I love, because then you kind of get a better feeling about the characters, which you might not get on bonus features of the DVD. I mean, they might brush past it really quickly, but this is a really in-depth about the design of the characters and the evolution of the characters. So there's just chock full of all these stories, which you are going to love reading this book, because they did a really good job talking about the evolution of the characters and where they came from. What I really like about this book is the variation that they have. So if you're looking here at this page of Fix-It Felix Jr., they really show all the different iterations that they were looking at. I mean, there was one where he kind of looks like a milkman, he looks more like Mario here, and they even show a lot of variation in art styles and sketches and artists, which I liked a lot. So I think sometimes you'll just see, very flat, similar looking characters on these pages, but Disney did a good job here really making it a lot of variety. And the same thing here on this page. This we're talking about, the big party, and you see a painting here, you see a storyboard here, game icons here, and then even just a breakdown of what some of the drinks that they're drinking. And so a lot of variation, and did a really, really good job, because it just kept me looking at different things instead of just like, flipping. They're all the same, I'll just flip.
So as we move into the world of Hero's Duty, that's one of the really cool spots, because we go into a really deep look at Sergeant Calhoun.
So one of the things I really liked about the Sergeant Calhoun page was the variety in what she ended up looking like. I mean, at one point she had maybe longer hair, and she definitely was a younger looking character. Here she was a bit sexier with this pouty lip. And then we also get to see a lot of different designs and sketches from different artists. I really like the ones from Jin Kim, Glenn Keane again, and hey, even Brittany Lee makes an appearance here. Pretty awesome.
Brittany Lee fangirl.
It's true. Speaking of Brittany Lee, when we move to the chapter about Sugar Rush, we see Vanellope and, the designs of that world, but what they did is they actually created a real-life candy world, making with cookies and candy and frosting and sprinkles. And Brittany Lee was actually the person who did this, so yay! And just looking at this is so creative. Like, I've tried to make a gingerbread house before, and this just shows the power of a creative mind, that you can just make this wonderful, delicious-looking world and city.
Mine never turns out like this.
No, it's like the triangle roof and
barely.
You know, the gingerbread graham cracker
on the milk carton.
So then we move on and we see kind of a mock-up of what the racetrack would be, and it's really cool because you see each of these little, you know, race patrons, what they looked like, and then you even see them here. They have their little happy smiley faces. The last page that was really cool was called Delicious Lighting. And if you've ever taken pictures of food, like, it takes a lot of work to make food look good on camera. You can't just take a photo and be like, I want to eat that. Like, there's a lot of lighting that's involved. So they brought in these photographers, and they just, you know, gave them a masterclass on how do you light food so it looks delectable. And then also they brought in this giant vat of frosting, and they basically like smushed toys in it to see like, how does frosting splatter? And these are really cool pages that they included, because this goes into the development and the exploration of the film and what would a candy world look like, which they included, which maybe they didn't have to, but I liked it because it really added to the richness, for sure, no pun intended, of this world.
They did such a good job with this book. All in all, we give this 5 stars. Definitely a buy it.
Yeah, this book is so good. It's definitely one of my favorites that I've seen, especially nowadays. It's just every page is used very wisely. A lot of variation in art styles and different types of art that they chose, and it's just jam-packed with it. It's a sugar rush, visually. Alright guys, thanks for watching. If you own the Art of Wreck-It Ralph, let us know in the comments below what is your favorite page. If not, tell us what you are most excited for about the Art of Wreck-It Ralph. And be sure to subscribe for more fabulous art book reviews, because look what's coming up. We have so many. So get ready, subscribe, and until next time, I'm Morgan.
And I'm Chelsea.
And this is the Rotoscopers YouTube. Good enough.
Okay.